Good morning, sports fans. This is George, Custom Tied Flies and Guide Service. And this morning, boys and girls, we're going to learn how to tie the CT Fleeing Crayfish. This is a platform fly, so you can change the colors on it, and it'll all still work out about the same. Excuse me. So without further ado, you're going to need 1/8" orange craft foam. This is furry foam from Hareline in a rust, and you're going to cut a strip of craft foam. Let me see. I think it's 5/8 of an inch wide and 6 inches long, and then the furry foam is 6 inches long, and out of each strip you're going to get 2. So you're also going to have the copper chrome full silly legs from Hareline. You're going to have root beer 15 millimeter Estaz. You're going to have rabbit zonkers, just a standard width in crawfish orange. There's also some copper crystal flash, and the size small lead dumbbell eye, and that is tied on an MFC. That's Montana Fly Company 3X long 60-degree jig hook in a size 2. So mount that with the standard mounting procedure. This is Danville Flymaster 210 denier in olive. Get tied in and get you a thread base. Oh, there it is. So you're going to take your crystal flash and just take about 6 strands, fold it over your finger and cut it in half, and then you can save 1/2 for another bug. Get your lead eye on there. I use 5 wraps cross, then switch over, do another 5 wraps, then 5 figure-8s, then 5 this way, and 4 fraps. Next is your rubber legs. You're going to get 3 of them. find the middle. You're going to put the far side on first, use a pinch wrap. And you want to tuck that under the eye. And then you come up from the bottom, from under the eye, pull those over. There you go. That gets, I call that the face. You know, it's like antennas or whatever, just something moving out in front. Okay, next is your claws. You're using the crawdad orange strips. You want to trim the fur off of the mounting point so you're just mounting on skin. And these claws are like 1 3/4 inches, 2 inches, somewhere in there. I trim the fur. I take the fur that I trimmed off of it and I put it in a bag to use later for, you know, something else that I might need dubbing for. There's my claws. Okay, next there's some EP fibers in tan and orange, or rust rather. And you want to put them on orange or rust side up, because that's what color is gonna show in the tail. Just take some big space-taking wraps. And you get that lashed down. You're going to come around your EP a couple times. And you're going to paint that with head cement. Let that take a minute to dry. You don't need this great big tail on here either. You can, so for your carapace, you're going to take this furry foam has an adhesive back. You're going to peel that adhesive back off and just stick it on the orange craft fur like a sticker. And here I'm just gauging the length that I'm going to need for this part here. So, see, I don't need all this. I'm going to trim that off. It's just going to get in the way. Okay, next is a long, soft saddle feather off the very end of the saddle up where the schlappen is. And this is for your legs. And then your root beer Estaz. You want to peel some of the fibers off of it to expose the threads, just like you would with chenille on a woolly booger. And to make sure you get a good mount, you can just kind of turn the fly on its side a little bit. Okay. I'm going to take a couple of half hitches here. Now I'm just going to turn my root beer Estaz onto my body. I call this body cover. You know, I'm just covering up the underneath. want to be careful you don't nip your thread when you're in there. It's really easy to do. Okay. Then your chenille's gonna, or your saddle's gonna come forward. You want wide, I mean, you know, kind of wide turns till you get up here closer to the eye, and you're gonna have some closer turns. Okay, now there's a couple of different options of getting your thread back to behind the or you know, back to the back part of the bug where you're going to put the carapace in. I'm doing this. I'm doing it this way to reinforce the legs. But, you know, of course, you don't have to. You could cut your thread and just put it in the back and, you know, tie it back in. You can do that. All right. Now my carapace. So I rounded this end here and I clipped it in the middle. When you look at the carapace of a crayfish, it has like cheeks on the side, and that's what this part is. I take 4 turns to make sure it's good and tight. I'm picking my legs out with bodkin. You can see where the legs got captured by the thread. It's okay if you don't get them all. You want to try to get most of them. Okay, and then you're going to bring your thread back forward. Back up to the eye. And then again, take your bodkin, pick out whatever got captured. You want to be careful you don't get under a piece of thread. Okay, now you're going to smash these down because you don't want them to be in your way. This is where your carapace is going to get tied in. So the 60 degree is going to poke up through here. So you just want to put a mark. You see a little mark? And then you can take your scissors and kind of drill right into that mark. And that's where your eye is going to poke up through. And you're going to pull your sides down, cinch the thread down, take 4 turns, and come up and go around the base of the eye. Take another turn. Okay. Now you're going to flip your fly over. Now you're going to build the segmented tail. That's what the EP is for, is to give your segmented tail something to hold on to. So just bring your thread up. Cinch it down. Bring it up. Cinch it down. Bring it up. Cinch it down. I'm going to do one more section, one more segment here. This is going to end up being a 3-inch long fly, but I mean, you know, you can make it as long as you want. The idea is, by the time it's done, you're going to curl this tail. So let's trim that off even. And then we're going to put a hand whip on this. Now we're going to take some UV resin and we're going to squirt that right here. Well, first off, I'm going to put UV resin up here where the lead dumbbells are. I just dropped my flashlight. And I'm going to squirt some UV resin on the foam and down in the gap between the foam down into the EP fibers. Let that soak down in there a little bit. Then I'm going to bend the tail and zap it with the light. Now, from here, I'm going to take UV resin and I'm going to put on this part of the tail. I'm going to put on these ribs here. I'm going to put it on the carapace. And I'm going to put it here on the jaws. So when you pull on this, the hydraulics of the water is going to push down on the tail, and it'll swim away just like a fleeing crawdad will. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and cut the notches into the tail. And then I'm going to take my UV resin. This is thick resin, so I use kind of the brush and the side of the wand. And I'm going to do that up here on the carapace. I'm going to go ahead and zap that. I'm going to zap the top of the carapace. I'm going to go ahead and use a squirter, and I'm going to get some in around the eye and down the side of each one of these segments to make it stand out. Sometimes I get resin in that hole. So just take your bodkin and run it through. I'm sure somewhere along the line, while you're out in the creek, you saw how the crayfish, when it goes to swim away, it doesn't typically just swim straight backwards. It swims kind of up and back and then settles back down. So with this, with the foam is going to increase the buoyancy of the fly. And it's going to counteract the weight that's in the front between the lead dumbbell and the zonker strips. So when this goes in the water, it'll orient with the point up but facing down. I'm going to have to take it out in order to get these taken care of. Excuse me. Now I tie a molting crayfish also with no claws, because molting crayfish don't have claws. As soon as they come out of the old shell, they leave their claws behind, and they have new claws. I had a brown marker here. I'll be darned if I can find it. Hey, there it is. Okay, I'm going to take my brown marker and I'm just going to go up inside these and I'm going to color them brown. And then I got this kind of orange foam strip. I'm going to color it brown. And there you have it. Oh, we better beat it up with the light some more. I'll push this down. Okay, there it is. Custom tied fleeing crayfish. Okay, you don't have to worry so much about this gap. So it's a really good gap. You got lots of room for the fish's mouth right there. Okay, and this is plenty of room. See, watch it sponge. See it push down. Oh, maybe you can't. See, it's pushing down. The fish is going to bite right through that. Okay, so it'll be fine. There you go. Custom tied fleeing crayfish. Thank you very much for joining us for this tutorial. And if you enjoy this, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can also find this and other flies and fly tying tutorials on my custom tied virtual fly shop webpage at www.custom-tied.com. That's CUSTOMTIED.com. Have a splash, don't forget the dash. www.custom-tied.com. Have a splash, don't forget the dash. So, happy tying.